Hi, I'm Jim Gordon.
And I'm Lita Leapins.
And welcome to another edition of Our City Tonight.
This is our second show airing on CHEK TV, so thanks for joining us.
That's right. We're outside of Ancora Restaurant here, a great spot in False Creek. We're going to head in there and check out the food, the cocktails, after you watch this.
Well, we're here at Ancora. Now we're inside and we're with the main man, Cam, who is the lead bartender and the bar manager here at Ancora on False Creek. You have a great cocktail program. In particular, since it's a Peruvian-Japanese restaurant, we have the first cocktail that is really, definitely Peruvian, original Peruvian cocktail. I believe it was developed in the 1920s by an American bartender, but enough said. What is in this beautiful drink?
Absolutely. So we have a classic pisco sour here. When I say classic, it's because it's a very, very classic Peruvian cocktail. If you go to Peru, pisco sour, that's the one you get. Pisco is made of grapes, is a distilled wine, basically, but is not aged, so it's a clear spirit, unlike actual brandy that is aged in barrels and, of course, for that reason is brown colored. So it's kind of like vodka, but more aromatic, has a range of flavors depending on the grape, and it's very tasty. So to make a pisco sour, of course, we use our own twist on the very original recipe. The original recipe is pretty boozy. It's got 3 ounces of pisco. We go with 2 ounces.
Okay,
and
good.
we make our own mix of lime, lemon juice, a little bit of yuzu juice, which comes from the Japanese side of the restaurant. And of course, egg whites, beautiful bitters, garnish on top. And it makes for a rounded, beautiful cocktail.
Well, I've tried that one. It's delicious. It's hard not to have 2 or 3, but 1 is, kind of my limit. Now, you also have a fantastic program here. All the world's talking about gastronomy, molecular gastronomy, and being right on top of it. Now, you have a background in engineering. This definitely plays into some of the great cocktails you have in your Cocktail of the Month program. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I do have an engineering background. I basically was an engineer for about 10 years and then had to follow my passion, so switched up, followed my passion and hobby on site for a long time, and made it to mixology. And in mixology, the new wave of molecular mixology is, of course, coming from the techniques of molecular gastronomy. And in engineering, it's all about measures and testing and how to tweak the processes to get the new feature thing out of a cocktail, or in a process in engineering. But in cocktails, it's the same thing. You're using the techniques developed by molecular gastronomy and tweak them, customize them, and get creative a little bit and make cocktails that have elements, ingredients, or processes in them that are not common to a normal cocktail, and that they really elevate the drink, they really elevate the taste, the flavor, and it's fun. It's really, really fun and cool. Some of them are engaging. In this case, we have an old-fashioned experience. We're using bourbon, smoky scotch, wash them with duck fat. The seasoned duck fat comes from kitchen. We have a duck dish on the menu, so we take advantage of that. The duck fat washing rounds up the flavors, makes this buttery, beautiful texture, adds this buttery, beautiful texture to the bourbon. And then we use a syrup and bitters that are house-made with spices and flavors that are basically specific and unique to Peruvian Japanese cuisine to make it customized to Ancora.
Wonderful, Cam. It sounds delicious. I can't wait to try those again. Before we wrap up, you have a great happy hour program as well. Can you mention a couple of the cocktails that you're very proud of here?
Yes, of course. So happy hour program is very popular here. We try to seasonally change it up a little bit and partner up with various vendors and brands for that matter. One of the cocktails in our happy hour menu is always going to be pisco based again. So we have a miniature kind of version of our pisco sour on cocktail hour. And then we have a cocktail called German Sun, which is made with Saint Germain and white wine, and is a very savory, refreshing, wintry cocktail. And make one later and you can taste it.
Thanks, Cam. They sound delicious. I can't wait to try those. Now, later on in the show, Jim's going to catch up with Chef Sebastian and talk about a few of the appetizers and the mains available here at Ancora. What you're looking at is the great new inspirational single, I'll Be Your Hero, from Nikita Graham, singer-songwriter based in Vancouver. Welcome, Nikita, to our city tonight.
Hi, Lita. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you gathered together a really incredible group of BC musicians from some quite well-known bands. How did this come about for this great project?
Well, basically, I was actually in school at the time, and one of my projects was a songwriting project. And the pandemic had just kind of hit, and so emotions were high. There was a lot of kind of things that were going on, and I had then had to do my school online from home. And so when this song kind of started coming together, I realized that I wanted to make it kind of if I could, a bigger project. So I started reaching out to local musicians that I knew, and the whole thing was kind of asking, like, do you guys have the ability to record from home? And so that's kind of how it all, I guess it all played out. And the people, there was a really great response from some people that I know, and they jumped on board, and yeah, we kind of just went back and forth till it all worked out.
And this project is in support of what you describe as a lot of the underfunded charities that don't get a lot of help out there. Not only are you showcasing our great frontline workers, but you're also helping out in areas that, basically are not getting the help they need. How did you choose your charities?
Well, so I wanted to pick a trio. I don't know really why I chose that, but to me, the biggest one that I always support and I love is Doctors Without Borders. And for me, I was watching the news around the world of what was going on, and the fact that so many, well, doctors and nurses, everybody in the healthcare profession, they're all putting their lives on the line for kind of humanity. And so I know that there are so many countries that need more help than others. And so Doctors Without Borders was kind of like a no-brainer to me. I just feel like those people are so selfless and caring and giving. So that was why I wanted to kind of focus on them. And then also Help Age Canada, that is for the seniors. And that's people like my parents and my 95-year-old grandpa, and people that they need assistance and they need support, and it's a really, really hard time for seniors right now also. It's a scary time. And then I also went with HIP, which is Honoring Indigenous Peoples, and I myself am a little bit Métis, and so I just wanted to support my own background as well, and that's working with people in Canada. And yeah, it's just a way to kind of bring some relief during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Well, a wonderful project and a very catchy tune. Thanks for doing this for all of us. And we can you can find out more about Nikita Graham on her website, nikitagraham.com. We'll have all the credits at the end of the show, so you can take a peek there. Again, Nikita, thank you for joining us. You are an amazing talent, and congratulations on your single, I'll Be Your Hero.
Thank you so much, Lita.
We are brave. We are strong, we're here for you.
Well, we're back here at Ancora in False Creek. Lita got to sample the cocktails. I get to sample the food now. We're with Executive Chef Sebastian, who's going to talk to us a bit about your menu. A lot of our viewers may not know about this Peruvian-Japanese fusion combination that you guys have created here. Can you talk a bit about what that all means before we get to the food?
Well, Peruvian and Japanese fusion, it's called Nikkei.
Nikkei, okay.
Yeah. Well, Japanese first came to Peru in the 1800s. They came to work at plantations, and they saw a great opportunity there. They were gonna make more money there in Japan, but once they got there, they saw all this rich country of food, right? And they show us how how Japanese are. They really take care of their products. They're very strict with that. Mm-hmm. So, for example, on the ceviche. Well, that ceviche is made of shellfish. Mm-hmm. It's a ceviche mixed up. Mm-hmm. It has calamari, squid, mussels, shrimp, scallops. And that's the signature dish of Peru, and this is our signature appetizer.
Okay, let's get to this spectacular tray you've got here and walk our viewers through what you've got on this tray.
This right here are the scallop shooters. The scallop shooters is, to me, is one of my best creations.
Okay.
It's fresh scallop, and then it has a Thai Peruvian sauce. The Thai Peruvian sauce has jalapeno, ají, palm sugar. So the sauce is spicy and sweet. And when you eat the scallop shooter, you have to put it all in your mouth and then bite the lime. When you bite the lime, there's acidity, the citric of the lime mixes with the sweetness and the spiciness.
Okay.
It goes perfect. And the texture of the scallop is just amazing.
And is this this is a hangover cure? I'm gonna say over here
It is.
the shooter glasses. Yeah, what do you got in there?
It is like this is actually in Peru. Everybody that goes out at night and then next day they have a hangover, they always go to a cevicheria, which is where they make ceviches and all this stuff, and they ask for a ceviche shot. That's like a ceviche in a shot.
Okay. Oh, good.
This one in particular is a prawn ceviche
Okay.
shot, and it's great. You just drink it as a shot, and then you feel all this energy.
Very nice. And should we say this platter is available every day here?
Every day.
Okay.
Every day from 12 to 10.
Come check out the menu here at Ancora. Great food, great happy hour too. Well, now we've moved upstairs here at Ancora. Sebastian's going to feature two of these main dishes here and some stories behind them. What are we looking at for food here?
Well, we're looking at two amazing dishes. First off, we have the sable fish. It comes with a quinoto. Quinoto, it's like a risotto, but with quinoa.
Oh, nice.
It's
Okay.
a Peruvian restaurant with. And it has butternut squash puree with some red jalapeno and cilantro. It's really tasty.
Very nice. Okay, and what about the second dish here?
In here, I tried to do. I did a representation of pachamanca. Pachamanca is a technique that the people from the Andes. It's basically they make a hole in the ground.
Yeah.
They heat up some rocks, and then they cook the meat or the fish in there. And then they put some root vegetables. And so what I tried to do was a representation of the pachamanca. They marinated the meat with huacatay, which is a Peruvian herb. So the sauce that you see in here, that's a huacatay sauce. And then all this black dust that you see there,
Yeah.
that's supposed to be the soil that they dig up.
Okay,
Yeah.
right, of course, yeah.
And then you have the rocks, which are the corn croquettes. And then this salad with cipollini, potatoes, and edamame.
Okay, and lastly, are these dishes that are available all year round?
The sable fish is,
Yeah.
and the halibut, it's all good through November.
At the end of this month, okay.
Yeah. But after November, we change the menu, we do the fall menu, and we have great things coming for.
Just in time for the holiday. Okay, well, come check it out. We're going to come back here at the end of the show to wrap things up. We're going to talk a little bit about safety as well. We got a little glass partition between us because we're standing closer than we were at the tables. So we'll come back to Ancora later in the show.
We continue the authentic Italian spotlight with our friends at the Italian Chamber of Commerce Canada West. You may recall that Jim in the last segment got to cover the Italian wine masterclass, and that was very exciting. We are now going to talk a little bit about the Week of Italian Cuisine in the World 2020, as the name implies. It is Italian's World Week of Cuisine. That will be happening from November 16th to the 30th. And I am joined now by a really great chef. He's the owner and executive chef of Mangia Cucina and Bar, Chef Alessandro. And let me get this right, Riccobano. Yes. And this is a fantastic restaurant. It's cozy. You can call it casual, but it's so much more than that. Great heritage house in Mount Pleasant. Welcome, Chef Alessandro. Tell us a little bit about your history of being a chef.
I'm originally from Palermo, Sicily, and I come from a family of restaurateurs. So my father owns restaurants. All my family, my uncles, they still have restaurants in Sicily. And after graduating in culinary school in Italy, I did move to England, London, where I honed my skills in various restaurants, really busy restaurants. And when eventually I did move to Vancouver, Canada, where I'm now opening my own restaurants and sharing my passion with all the Vancouverites.
Well, lucky Vancouver to have you. We are excited. This Mangia Cucina and Bar has been around for 2 years, and just a beautiful place. Now, we're going to talk a little bit more about Italian Cuisine Week that's coming up. In particular, the Sorpresa box. Did I say that right?
The Sorpresa box.
Sorpresa box. Now, you are going to be the feature chef.
Exactly.
For the free online cooking class that they are putting on for this week, for the Italian Week. And people can find out a little bit more information by going on the Italian Chamber of Commerce Canada West website, how to purchase this box. But tell us a little bit about what's inside.
There will be, well, of course it's a surprise, so I can't tell you what's going to be inside. There's going to be a few ingredients to cook a few dishes. One of those ingredients is going to be in there will be one of the ingredients I will use in one of my dishes, and then one of the recipes that I will cook with you and for you, and so that you can cook with me one of those recipes.
Perfect, that's exciting, and I know it's kind of geared towards the holidays, so some great, perfect pairing. I also know that this event, they're going to allow us to take a virtual tour of a wine company as well, or a vineyard, I imagine, and perfectly pair your dishes that you're cooking with the wine, so that'll be very exciting. That is November 26th at 5:30 PST time, and again, all details will be shown in the credits. Well, there also is a 2-week celebration included as the restaurants all take part, and Mangia Cucina and Bar is taking part in that, and they are going to be featuring a really delicious dish. Can you tell us a little bit about that dish?
The dish we'll be featuring for these 2 weeks is a stuffed conchiglione. It's a shell-shaped pasta. The filling is going to be butternut squash, Swiss chard. We have a very special cheese which is called stracciatont, and it's a bergamasco cheese. And it's a blue cheese, you know, very creamy at the same time. And also it's on a bed of arugula bechamel.
Sounds absolutely delicious. Maybe that people can convince you to keep it all year round.
Probably.
That sounds like a cozy dish though for moving into winter, and again, beautiful restaurant located in the very cozy Mount Pleasant. You can find out a little bit more about the restaurant in the credits. You can go to their website. And I also want to give a big shout out and thanks to the organizers of these events, which is the Italian Consulate of Vancouver, the Italian Chamber of Commerce Canada West, as well as the Italian Trade Commission. And a great thanks to Mangia Cucina and Bar and Chef Alessandro. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
This segment of Live Debt Free is brought to you by Debtco.ca, helping Canadians get out of debt based on ability.
Well, we're back here at Ancora, but this time not for the food. We are joined by Chris Smith, who is our debt restructuring expert. And Chris, we're going to cover a really topical topic, basically, and that's mortgages. I know you got some great numbers to share with us.
Absolutely, and I am here for the food because it's fantastic. I truly enjoyed that. Little snack before we started was wonderful.
Perfect.
So yeah, let's start and chat about this. I've been a banker for 13 years and also worked on fixing financial problems for over 20 years. And sadly, I've been on both sides of the coin. I've struggled with my mortgage and had to fire sale a home. And I've also been the purchaser of a foreclosure and a whole bunch of foreclosures. And I currently, my home is a foreclosure, so it's a good investment on that side. To throw some numbers at you, there are about 6 million mortgages in Canada. And that's about $1.5 trillion. I think that's 12 zeros. A lot of zeros.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, BC has about 917,000 mortgages. Mm-hmm. And in April of 2020, sort of early in the pandemic, there were default rates were about under 0.25%. So under 0.25%, meaning that there were about 1,058 homes sort of in foreclosure, in challenges in British Columbia in April.
That's not bad though, right?
You know what? It's not bad.
Okay.
That's pretty good. But
So how did the pandemic affect all of this when it came full bore?
absolutely. So let's take those numbers a little bit further. You know, we look at this, and deferrals came into play. The government, the banks, trying to help people that were having challenges. You know, that's all good stuff. It helps people get through those things. But when you start to break that down, CMHC tweeted in the last week that in British Columbia there was an 11% deferral rate. So through that whole pandemic, 11% of the mortgages in British Columbia, which is about 100,000 mortgages, were at some point on deferrals.
Wow.
So
Okay.
then you have the Royal Bank that their analysts came out in the last week and they expressed some concerns because often when you have deferrals, 20% of the deferrals end up being defaults. So in April we had just over 1,000 sort of mortgages in default, yet you do the math on 100,000 mortgages deferred, there could be another 20,000 mortgages that have some challenges. So that's sort of my concern.
Yeah, I guess it's a lot of people's concern coming up. So what happens when you can't pay?
Well, I've been on that side, and it's not much fun. Typically, what happens when you can't pay, so you stop paying your mortgage. You go through the process for about 90 days of having, email and letters and phone calls
And
with
stress.
and stress, absolutely, with the bank. Once it gets past 90 days, the bank kind of taps out. They've got to do what they've got to do. They've got to collect their money for their shareholders. So they'll send you a letter saying we want our mortgage paid. And when you haven't been paying it and you don't have the money, you're probably not able to do that. So that expires, and next thing you get a stack of paper about this thick, which is the foreclosure process starting in the courts.
Oh, goodness.
So that starts. It's a court-run process. In court, you end up determining, or the court ends up determining what the redemption period is. Typically, 9 out of 10 times, we see about a 6-month redemption period, which means that they've got 6 months to figure out what they want to do, and sell the home, refinance, whatever it is. And the bank also knows when they're going to get the ability to be able to sell that home. So once that happens, the 6 months expires. Well, the bank goes to court and they get the order to sell your home. They list it, they sell it, they get offers, and you're done and you're out.
What are some of the options for homeowners then?
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, there's a couple things, because you can come out of that process owing money if you're short in your mortgage. But as far as options, I think the biggest thing you can do is communicate with your mortgage holder. Talk to the bank. They don't want defaults. They don't want that to happen. And we've seen them offer, I think there were almost 1 million deferrals through Canada in this year, so it's pretty substantial. You can also sell your home. Some people think once the foreclosure process starts, you can't do anything. Sell your home, get your cash out, reduce your stress. And you can also look at reinstating your mortgage or refinancing. So you could get another mortgage to pay, let's say you've got arrears of $15,000 and you've got legal fees of $10,000 or $15,000, go get a second mortgage, pay that back. If you negotiate that with the bank, maybe you're back in good standing. And I guess the last thing is do nothing. And if you don't do anything and you're not going to pay, you probably live for free for 10 or 12 months, but then you're out on your own and you probably got a debt staring you in the face. So it's tough stuff.
Oh, well, so share some of the successes you've had with your company.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll share a story of a fellow that came to see us last year. He was a retired fellow in his late 60s. He had a home that was in foreclosure. He had a bunch of credit card debt, and he was sadly drinking himself to sleep every night because it was a disaster. We sat with him, we put a plan together. Within 60 days, his home was sold, paid out his foreclosure, paid all his debts, and had enough money in a chunk of cash that he was off to a retirement home, and I've never seen him happier.
Oh, well, that's great news. Kind of a happy ending to that story for sure.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you have a mixture of a lot of things, but you've had a lot of successes with Detco. .ca. So thanks, Chris. Always appreciate the great advice, especially during this really unprecedented time as we move into the new year as well. So
well,
thanks.
thank you. Thank you, Lita, very
sharing.
much. Yeah, no, awesome. Great.
So that's
great
Chris Smith with Detco.ca. You can see all his credentials at the end of the shows in the credits. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks.
This segment of Live Debt Free was brought to you by Detco.ca, helping Canadians get out of debt based on ability.
Back here at Ancora Restaurant, where we began the show on a beautiful November day. We're looking at False Creek right across from us, and we're just outside Ancora right now.
And we're joined by, socially distanced, mind you, by Yana, who is the general manager here at Ancora. Weird holidays now, just unprecedented times. What is Ancora doing that's special this year for your customers?
So we're definitely really focusing on safety. We have our new plexiglass installed. We're always socially distant. All of our teams are wearing masks and obviously taking hand washing protocols very seriously. But then because, you know, the holiday season is a funny one this year, we do have a private room that can seat up to 18 people socially distanced. And we're really welcoming those small businesses, family events. You know, it's a different holiday, but please come out and see us because it's really fantastic and we have a great private room upstairs.
Yana, we got a few seconds left. We're going to bullet point here. Happy hour is when?
It's 7 days a week, 2:30 till 5.
And you've got lunch and dinner 7 days a week?
Yes, 7 days a week. Open every day. Please come and see us.
She's from Kent and enjoying her time in Vancouver. Thanks, Yana.
Thank you.
And we'll have all the Ancora information in our closing credits. I'm Jim Gordon.
And I'm Lita Leapins.
We'll see you on the next edition of Our City Tonight.
This segment of Live Debt Free was brought to you by Debtco.ca, helping Canadians get out of debt based on ability. Outdoor wear for Jim and Lita provided by Helly Hansen, alive since 1877.
Youngblood Mineral Cosmetics provided by Soluzione Spa Products.